Thanks for tuning in to the Great Hudson River Revival 2021.
We're at the Atlantic Ocean here in South Florida, instead on the shores of Croton in the Hudson Valley. Today, the 19th of June, is known as Juneteenth because on this day in 1865, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, Union troops reached Galveston, Texas, and the last slaves of the Confederate States learned of their freedom. Beginning in 1866, Juneteenth has been celebrated as Freedom Day, Emancipation Day.
I'm in South Bryant Park on land homesteaded around 1890 by two black people, Samuel and Fannie James. The Native Americans had been marched off on the Trail of Tears after the Seminole Wars or fled into the River of Grass, known as the Everglades. Fannie James started the post office in the area they named Jewel. This is now the city of Lake Worth Beach, and this water is our local estuary, the Lake Worth Lagoon.
We are on Jewel Cove, which is on the east shore of the Lake Worth Lagoon, instead of being at Croton Point Park at the start of the Great Hudson River Revival. We'd like to open this piece with a poem by Will McLean, the father of Florida folk music. And the poem is The Legend of Pete Seeger.
The blood of those who gave their all to keep our country free has stained our hallowed land for naught, unless both you and me do meet our duty proud and strong, and use our precious right, the precious right to live and die in freedom's burning light.
Back to the Great Hudson River Revival. Pete Seeger's idea to save the river using a graceful sloop became a reality in 1969 in Maine at the launch of the Clearwater. He soon realized that each town could have smaller boats and reach more people. So he began the ferry sloop project. First, a 32-foot 1/3 scale Clearwater named after his friend Woody Guthrie. Then a cement hull named after the abolitionist Sojourner Truth, who was born into slavery in upstate New York in 1797.
Pete Seeger invited us to sing along, and he asked us to work together. Most of the small boat projects are volunteer-driven, but they are not small-scale. The ferry sloop Sojourner Truth, the cement hull, was finished by volunteers and sailed for 20 years until a big front freed her from her mooring and she blew onto the rocks in the harbor where the Great Hudson River Revival takes place. We're going to play a song we wrote for the sloop Sojourner Truth called Building a Boat by Committee.
Sojourner Truth.
It's been a heck of a year.
Please give what you can to help Clearwater serve generations to come.
Thanks for listening. Mel and Vinnie.